Here we go. We're getting into our next match, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our Brazilian Terran player. What? Wait, what? Wait, what? My brain. We have our Brazilian Terran player, the Red Terran, representing clan PWT. It is elivolts. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, off-racing, typically a Terran player, but off-racing is Protoss, we have, for Eximius Gaming, Kamikaze. So I just woke up. I did just wake up, so I wasn't quite expecting this, and he's going for a cannon rush. Oh my god! He's looking to spice things up here with a Forge, sending out 2 probes, and Kamikaze is doing his best Protoss impression and going for a cannon rush across the map. Now, again, we have seen cannon rushes work in this matchup in the past. We have seen even Maru fall to a cannon rush in GSL. We'll see if Kamikaze can do something similar here, as the pylon has been placed, and the pylon is scouted by elivolts. He's aware. He's aware, does pull a couple of boys. The pylon's set up, the cannon should be placed. Yeah, the cannon has been set up. The first probe does fall, but there's only 1 probe left. Last the cannon, it will finish. But really, it's about elivolts maintaining control of the high ground. Bunker now on the way. Oh, is delayed. Oh no! Yeah, bunker is going to be delayed. A pylon has been placed here on the high ground as well. No full wall. I would have said that if we had risen this depot, thrown down a depot here towards left hand side as well. Delayed the push. But the wall didn't finish. Again, it's this one probe that's giving high ground vision. Another probe has arrived. And the cannon rush is underway. elivolts does have to retreat, does have to back off. Saves his production, getting to its factory. Is getting into his own factory, getting to his 1-1-1. I mean, a secure way to deal with this would be to go into a tank. We'll go to tech lab into tank sieges up, and the tank can actually just shut this down. Kamikaze back at home going for the cybercore. With the cybercore, he can go for a proxy robo or proxy stargate. He can try to keep this kind of all in going, or try to transition back at home. I'm curious what the plan is going to be here. Yeah, there's that tech lab for elivolts. And Kamikaze going for the Nexus. Oh no. He's clowning. Now, because he's investing into a base like this, oh, I was going to say that elivolts should be able to break out, but he's going actually for a Cyclone, not for a tank. So this I'm less confident about. Again, if it was a tank, he could completely shut this down real quick by focusing on the cannon. I mean, there's nothing really to protect this setup either, just sag defense. Instead, going for the Cyclone and going for the Medevac tells us that elivolts wants to drop across the map instead, I would imagine, and go for like counterplay. He's boosting across. He is now going for the tank. The tank was delayed, but it is on the way. Now, the problem is that because the tank is delayed, because he went Cyclone first, this Void Ray is going to be the first to pop out. And suddenly, I'm less confident here about the position of the Terran. Drop does get across the map. And just like that, mining is going to be disrupted. He has to be very careful to be surrounded. And so far, good control. And do we force a recall back home? Do we recall across the map? Oh yeah, we're recalling the Void Ray. Void Ray does race back. Only 3 probe kills. And Kamikaze defends. Kamikaze does defend. The tank barely within range of the cannon. Will eventually bring it down. Getting into Viking Cyclone production. I do actually really like this from elivolts. Like, this isn't looking too bad. No high ground vision. Overcharge gets popped, but eventually this cannon is going to be cleaned up. Void Ray's moving out, but there is no second Void Ray. Tempest is on the way. By the time the Tempest pops, it's going to be what? 3 Vikings? Maybe 4? Yeah, cannon does fall. Going for the pylons. This will depower everything. And with everything being depowered, yeah, Artorias' pylon falls. There's one more. That's a shield battery, not a pylon. And that's going to be game. That's going to be game then and there. As there's nothing left. There's nothing left. GG gets called, and elivolts takes game number 1. GG. Este Kamikaze. Shaking my head, but yeah, Kamikaze is a Terran main, but it looks like he was a little bit overconfident and did decide to off race his Protoss. I am curious if Kamikaze is going to commit and actually play Protoss throughout the entire series. I don't think he will, but would be respectable if he does. See what he goes for. So we are going to be settling in and getting ready for game 2. Okay. Meanwhile, it looks like we still don't have many other updates in the bracket yet. It's slowly progressing here. Method now facing up against Master. We have Victor waiting for the winner of Master and Method as well. But yeah, I was really surprised at Kamikaze off race just because I feel like the main race of Kamikaze and the main race of Volts are pretty comparable in skill. So, interesting choice. Interesting choice. So we are getting into game number 2. And it looks like Kamikaze is going to commit to Protoss. Oh god. Okay. Interesting. Okay, looks like he is going to commit. And yeah, we'll see where this takes us. Ah, no, never mind. Okay, switch to Terran. Okay, switch to Terran, which makes more sense. There we go. Has since switched to his main race, just having a bit of fun in that first game. Shaking my head. And now we're loading into Golden Aura. Getting into game 2. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Golden Aura, we have our Brazilian Terran player, the Red Terran representing Eximes Gaming. It is Kamikaze. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the other Brazilian Terran player, the blue Terran. It is elivolts. I don't understand Portuguese enough. Not like this. It looks like we are going to be, or at least Kamikaze taking this a little bit more seriously. No cannon rush this time. Just going for the initial vax. Single gas openers for the time being. Oh, no, there we go. Okay, double gas here from Kamikaze. Going faster factory, a bit of a more aggressive start. Again, Kamikaze is one of the stronger Terran players in Brazil. I mean, I say that in the bracket, I would say that he's comparable to Yan, but Yan isn't actually here today. So, Inexorable and Kamikaze being the top 2 in the bracket. We'll see how far they can go. Did mention earlier that I did want to catch some of Inexorable's matches. Maybe later on in the evening. We'll get there. As the SCV Scout moves in, elivolts going for a much more economic opener. Should be going for the CC on location. Kamikaze getting a bunker? Wait, what? Bit of a misread here by Kamikaze. Yeah, he thought it was proxied. Okay. He missed the first racks when he went in for the scouts, so already the mind game's coming into play. Kamikaze wasting some resources, did delay his overall build. and is getting into his 1-1. So some nice inadvertent damage here from elivolts. Just getting into a CC, just calming things down. I guess that's the plus side of, you know, throwing down your racks a little bit further on the right hand side, is that it's maybe a little bit harder to scout. I mean, this is a very unorthodox setup. We'll be warding off the Reaper cliff. Meanwhile, Kamikaze has arrived to delay the CC. It's going to threaten the SCVs. Threatened, but doesn't get much done. Kamikaze has to pull away. Oh! Have to pull back. Could maybe get an SCV kill, but not quite. Elivolts so far does defend. And he does get the better trades as well. Takes out the first Reaper. It does get the first Reaper. Kamikaze has to back off again. He did overextend. And so far, a better start for the Blue Terran. Getting to his own 1-1-1. Likewise, Kamikaze getting to his own faster starport. Wait, what? Should have been a faster starport, but it looks like the starport production was delayed. Getting to his add-ons. Cyclone first. Okay, okay. Makes sense. Did go for the faster Cyclone. Now into early tank, and this can lead into an early tank push with the medevac. So Kamikaze going to be a little bit more assertive here, once again. This is typically how he does approach this matchup. We've seen it more often than not against players like Inexorable and Yen, where Kamikaze, I mean, he lives up to his name, very heavy when it comes to Doom drops, when it comes to aggression. But he's going for the Tech Lab on the starport first, not going for the medevac, going for the Raven. Interesting. So just really early tank production from Kamikaze. We'll have the tank lead. Will be up a tank. Oh, my apologies. Yeah, it was kind of odd when it came to the opener here. I assumed he would with the double gas opener. Elivolts is ahead economically, but I guess because the earlier Cyclone, it did kind of delay things. So never mind. Even tank count. We're even on tanks. Second starport from Kamikaze. Now with this second starport, this should be a 2-base all-in. This is kind of like the special build. Basically, with two starports, your goal here is to go into Mass Viking. Is to go Mass Viking to get air control, and once you get air control, I mean, then you take control of the ground as well, of course. A lot of TVT does come down to that air superiority. You have Viking, then into Liberator. And this should be a 2-base all-in. Now, typically, if Elivolts was to scout this, you would respond with your own second starport to catch up in the Viking count, to try to, like, contest against it, and to take that away from the all-inning player. But Elivolts is in the dark as to what's going on. Is unaware. Viking production has begun. Usually you would have a reactor. Well, the problem is that because, like, this is a really unique variation of this 2-base all-in, because we're getting 3 Ravens. We're going Raven instead of Liberator. So ideally the Ravens, they disable everything. Vikings, of course, they have control of the sky. There's going to be less Vikings to work with. There we go. There's the add-on stop going for reactor Viking production. Now this is making more sense. Kamikaze is moving out. Now currently, oh no, he's supply blocked. I was going to say the Elivolts has the Viking lead and he should maintain it, but the supply block is brutal. Now is not the time. Not when you're up against it all in. Yeah, now I'm concerned for Elivolts. The army has arrived. The supply block was brutal. He's getting a 3rd CC. Auto charge doesn't really add much here to the fight. So a bit of a panic turret here by Elivolts. So I apologize for not updating the score. I was a little bit distracted by the start of the game. Still waking up. Yeah, the initial Vikings have arrived. Again, the supply block earlier is hurting Elivolts so much. Does bring down the first tank. Oh, almost the other two. One more volley is all he needed. Uno mas, papi, uno mas. Disables are about to run out though. Tanks are within range of the add-ons. Add-ons under fire. Oof. And Kamikaze is snowballing from here. Getting another tank, just came for the production. Elivolts, he just can't engage. Not anymore. Again, there's too many Vikings, so he just can't engage with any of his own Vikings, any of his own Ravens. Tanks are outranged. And behind this, Kamikaze just getting a third CC. He's now going for a much later expansion. He can afford to. And collapsing on this is not going to be easy. As Vikings, they take down the add-ons. And GG gets called. Kamikaze will tie up the series 1-1. GG. Again, elivolts, he always was able to survive that. Again, despite being caught with his pants down. The survival was brutal though. Likewise, he just barely wasn't able to contest against the army. One more tank volley would have been enough to clean up two of those tanks and maybe hold on, maybe survive, maybe take it from there. GG. GG, well played. We're tied up. We're going to the ace match. Let's go. See, Jad Wolf asking in the chat, is this a new patch? No. This is not the PTR. For those that are curious, a new patch was announced, but it is only accessible currently via the PTR, via the public test realm. The new patch shouldn't be live for like another month, maybe. Like, there's gonna be a period of testing before anything is finalized. There are some people, or I should say, there's discussion amongst tournament organizers whether or not it's worth hosting tournaments on the PTR. Like ourselves, we have to think about that maybe next week as well. Like, do we want to, our regular tournaments like Sparkling Tuna Cup, like Tenacious Turtle Tussle, do we want to host them on the PTR, or do we want to make use of like a mod in game to make use of some of the changes? I think it would be entertaining for viewers, true, but I'm sure players, they wouldn't be too fond of it. So we'll see what happens. That's probably something to consider. I think it's probably worth it just because it allows us to test these changes and provide feedback. That's probably the most important thing, to be honest. To provide feedback and to, make sure that the game isn't broken when the patch goes live. But we'll see. As spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have our Brazilian Terran, the blue Terran. For Extremius Gaming, it is Kamikaze. And in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the other Brazilian Terran player, the red Terran. For PWT, it is elivolts. Here we go. Again, Kamikaze just embracing a 2-base win in that last game. Going double starboards, going into that mass Viking, so he just maintains air control and he just dominates from there. And again, that can be very difficult to defend against, especially if he goes unscouted. So the pressure is now on elivolts here to figure out what's going on and try to scout, respond. Clearly, Kamikaze willing to be aggressive, willing to be all in. I mean, we saw that in game 1 when he was cannon rushing as Protoss and it was off racing. Clearly very confident. But we'll see. As the SCV does move out. move out across the map. Once again, double gas open out of Kamikaze. Once again, it is going to be a racked expand out of elivolts. CC on location on the low ground. That I understand. Elivolts, he's asking, what are you hiding? True, because, I mean, there's a full wall. There is a full wall, so Elivolts, he was denied the SCV scout into the main, and it is going to be just double gas, racks into factory. The same setup that we saw in game 1. So far, it is the same setup. Oh, no. That I don't understand. Yo, talking about hamburgers makes me hungry, man. Like, haven't had breakfast. But now we do have our 1-1-1 setup. Again, faster tech lab here from Kamikaze on the factory. This can lead into earlier tank production, into an add-on swap, into like something like a Banshee-based opener instead. Kamikaze has options. As Reapers do move out. And elivolts is still building up himself. Safety bunker here on the low ground to keep him safe. To protect the natural. There is that. Okay, tank first here from elivolts. Likewise, Kamikaze going for the initial Viking. No add-on swap. I mean, he could just go for another 2-base all-in. True. That could just occur. And Kamikaze getting supply blocked. Once again, now is not the time. There we go. Tank production has begun. It looks like it's just going to be the initial Viking, followed by the Tech Lab, followed by Raven production. I'm assuming Raven. Banshees, they have their place in TVT. But we'll see what Kamikaze goes for. Ooh, meanwhile, elivolts going for his own starports. Okay. A very similar setup here to what we saw previously. So it looks like elivolts is going for a 2-base all-in. He doesn't actually have the best setup for this. Usually you would want a reactor on one of the starports to make three Vikings at a time. But he's, oh no! He's going 2-port and Kamikaze scouts! No, not like this. Unlike the previous game where Kamikaze was able to hide his build, elivolts is not. And this is a good response out of Kamikaze. I mentioned this before. If you scout a 2-port 2-base all-in, how do you respond? With your own second starport. So elivolts, again, he should have had his second starport hidden here further back in the main, ideally. But he's going for add-on swaps, and again, Kamikaze, he saw everything. So basically, elivolts is attempting the same build. He's attempting the same build that Kamikaze went for previously. Kamikaze is already moving out. And again, he's responding with Mass Viking himself. Not like this. Okay, Kamikaze sitting up here outside of the natural. Scans, he confirms everything in the main. Now, initially, elivolts will have the Viking lead, so you can see him trying to bully back the army. But that is soon about to change. Kamikaze making 4 Vikings at a time. That's a lot of Vikings. I wouldn't be opposed to elivolts being a little bit more active with these Vikings to try to lure the army into tank range or fend off the Raven. So elivolts, he is soon to break out. Salvages the bunker. Viking count is in favor of Kamikaze, but the Vikings are still on the way. He even lands. Can we get the Raven? Again, remember, these Marines, they don't have stim. I feel like elivolts is respecting these Marines a little bit too much. Now the Vikings, they just opt to land. Raven is still a factor. The tanks are on siege. No shot. And Kamikaze, I'm sure he's tempted to dive in. Gets the first Raven. Sorry, gets the first Viking. Gets two. Yeah, and just too many losses. Elivolts, he's getting shut down. He's forced back. He's lost the Viking lead. His Ravens are exposed. Even with the anti-armor, it may not matter. Oh, gets the Liberator. You get one shot. And again, I mean, it was just rough in the beginning after the initial 2 port was scattered. We can see Elivolts trying to take a base. He pulls up, boys! I mean, hey, the army's unsieged. But the Vikings, they hope to land. Tank bullies going up. They shut down the tanks of Elivolts, and that's going to be the army. That's going to be everything going down. There's almost nothing left for the Red Terran. As Kamikaze does overwhelm. Bust into the natural. Elivolts, he gets a Raven. True. Does get a Raven at least, but GG gets called. And Kamikaze will take the series 2-1. GG. Will take the series in the end. Again, it was unfortunate. I do think there was potential in Elivolt's build, but we never really got to see it kind of in full get into full force, just because it got scattered early on. And Kamikaze, he did respond beautifully to it, throwing down his own second starport, getting to his own Viking production, and eventually overwhelming Elivolts in the end. GG. GG, well played. With that, congratulations. Kamikaze will take the series 2-1. And with that, we do have some other matches that are soon to begin. Oh. Let's try and catch up.